Hello, everyone. This is Amy Wenslow with your new episode of the Product Business Podcast. Welcome, welcome. I'm so honored that you are here with me today and that you're investing your time and your energy to learn about growing your product business. You know, as product entrepreneurs, we go through different stages, and every one of our clients follows these stages in different orders a little bit, but it's pretty typical. So in the early stage, you're testing a lot. You're testing your prototypes, which form is right, which colors are right. You're testing messages that work and what actually causes people to buy. What's the process that you need to have in place? What sizes do you need to sell? So it's really about testing what actually might work, right? So it's a very creative process and generating a lot of possibilities and ideas and all of those, right? And then once you get your business up and going, there's this moment where you realize that it's expanded, number one, beyond you. So you might have brought in team. And number two, there's all these different things kind of in your business's systems or space that may or may not be serving you anymore, right? So you get to this stage where you want to expand, and it's almost like you're tripping over things that you put in your path before, right? There is a great quote from Ready, Fire, Aim by Masterson. Great book that is about scaling businesses. And what it says is that the systems that get you to one stage of business will break when you evolve into the next stage. And that's part of how you know you're moving from stage to stage. So when you are growing a product business, there are going to be these times where you need to sort of clean up all the creative messes that you've made, right? And I say messes because they're hanging out and they're not necessarily serving you. They served you at one point and they were part of your process, but they're not necessarily part of where you're going next, right? And for me, the best example of this is kind of like when you clean out a closet, or over the weekend, we were cleaning out a storage shed. And when you clean out a space, you find all these things that, number one, you forgot you had. So you find some resources, right? Some things that you might need or want or be able to repurpose. You find those. And then you also see things that aren't going to ever serve you again, right? Like it doesn't fit, or it's not your color, or it's broken and outlived its usefulness to you. And sometimes you see that the organization needs to change, right? That the way the space is set up isn't working. And usually in part of that process, you're going to kind of rearrange everything, right? My favorite way is to pull everything out, put it into piles, kind of group it like, here are all the barbecue items. Here are all the out of season clothing items, like that. And then I can see how much we really have that we want to store, that we want to find a way to use, or that is still actively useful in our lives going forward with what we want that space to be. It's the same thing in your business, okay? So when you reorganize a business, you're grouping by function inside the business, maybe like here are all the customer service related things, people, systems, etc. You might be grouping, here's all our sales related things. One of the biggest places to look is your marketing materials, right? You want to look at what are the messages that you've tested, tried, that worked and that didn't work. You might have even evolved who you market to or who you sell to. You could also have different, what's called bill of materials, which means recipe for making your product, because maybe you've launched something new and you're no longer offering that first item, right? So you want to actually go through and refresh, organize, maybe clean some things out, stop doing certain practices, add other practices, because if you don't, your business will stagnate. Okay? So there's kind of an art to this. You don't want to constantly be in a mass upheaval type of evolution, right? You want to do what you're doing long enough to experience the results. And then when you notice that it's gotten harder to do certain things, or, a favorite thing about marketing, if your instructions are off, if your customer service team has like 4 Word documents they've had to create to send out because your instructions aren't clear, it becomes painfully obvious, right? That maybe you should clean up your instructions, revise them, redo it, simplify, incorporate what they've used in the Word documents that worked, so that you can get that set of phone calls out of the way of your customer service people. Okay? Same thing with if you're getting consistent feedback in your sales from Amazon, or there's a continuing issue. That's a place where you want to look to clean up first. That's how you know where it's messy. Okay? So cleaning up in your business in terms of your business systems and the stage that you're in is very much like cleaning up your garage. It's something that frequently gets put off because it's messy. And a lot of times, in the middle, it looks messier and it feels like you're backsliding, right? That doesn't mean it's true. What you have to do in that moment is persevere. Stick with it. Keep going, because what you're creating is something that is new to you. So with that, I just want to remind you to stay with the process. Do not try to rip apart everything at one time in one fell swoop and change your entire company and change your entire business. It will get too stressful for most of your team to be involved with. What you want to do is look for the area that you can impact in a short amount of time. And you want to take it in incremental stages. To continue the analogy, when you're straightening up a whole house, you start with one closet, one dresser, and you create success in that area that gives you the peace of mind to do the others. It's the same thing when you're growing and expanding and evolving your systems inside your product business. So with that, everyone, please stay tuned. We're going to be announcing the book to be available. We are going to make it for free for a limited time offer, and you'll be able to pick that up. It's called Turn Products into Profits. And I would love to have you join us for the live Q&A call-in shows that we do on Mondays. You can find out information about that in the description of this podcast. Talk to you soon.